What is going on, Dolphins fans? Jacob here, Miami Dolphins Syndicate. Before we get into the video, another reminder, go check out Green Gridiron. Get yourself a miniature or regular size helmet for this holiday season for your loved ones. Click that link down below in the description. Go get yourself one of these beautiful helmets. And a beautiful man is who we are here to talk about today. That is Mike McDaniel. So Mike McDaniel, we've talked about a few times on this channel how so many Dolphins fans, and there certainly were conversations on this channel as to whether Mike McDaniel should have been fired or should be fired at the end of the season as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. And during that time, I stayed pretty consistent with my opinion that Mike McDaniel should only be judged on what his offense looks like with Tua. Now, there is certainly room for a separate conversation as to whether Mike McDaniel should be able to base his offense around against a unathletic, shorter, injury-prone quarterback. Conversation for another day, and certainly has some merit to it. However, this offense with Tua is where Mike McDaniel hangs his hat on, and that is ultimately what he should be judged on. And since Tua has come back, Miami Dolphins are averaging 30 points, to 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, easily could be 5-0. Couple one-score games against the Cardinals, a really good team, and the Buffalo Bills, obviously one of the best teams in the AFC, and then 3 games in a row Miami Dolphins have won, and right on the precipice of being 500, as well as right being back in that wild card conversation. Mike McDaniel needs credit for what he has done to this Miami Dolphins offense. This offense looks very different from what we were doing last year, and Mike McDaniel has learned from some of his mistakes through his first now 3 seasons as a Dolphins coach. One of the biggest criticisms of Mike McDaniel throughout last season, year before even, was his inability to adapt. And I think as time has gone on now, that some of that can be put on the fact that he is still such a young offensive play caller, such a young head coach, did not get the play calling responsibilities over with the 49ers. So this really is his first go at being a play caller as well as being a head coach, learning the tricks of the trade. First 2 seasons with Mike McDaniel, with Tua, with Tyreek, with Waddle, this offense had to be a big play offense in order to win. And doing so, teams across the league, for some reason, only the good teams could figure it out, and the bad teams just didn't. The good teams in the NFL just realized play a cover 2, put your safeties a little further back in that cover 2, put your linebackers a little further back in that cover 2 than you normally would. And the Miami Dolphins offense immediately turns into a BB gun offense that cannot sustain drives, that cannot win big games against big teams. Mike McDaniel has flipped that entirely on its head this year, and we look at the game yesterday, case in point. Miami Dolphins with Tua, only 1 completion that was over 20 yards down the field was over 20 yards, and it was 25 yards. There was no big plays yesterday against the Patriots. There were no shots downfield. There hasn't really been a shot downfield, and I couldn't tell you how long, because now not just the good teams, the bad teams too are figuring out, play a strong cover 2, just sit everybody back, and this Dolphins offense theoretically cannot run. However, we just saw yesterday with a bracket on Tyreek Hill, and at times cover 2 across the field, a really bad Patriots secondary, so not the greatest example in the world, but the Miami Dolphins offense was able to operate against a team that just sat 2 safeties back, took away all the home run hits, and were able to take what the defense gave them. This time last year, it was really impossible to think of a Miami Dolphins team getting a victory against another team by just playing death by 1,000 paper cuts, by not pushing the ball downfield, whether it was against a good team, whether it was against a bad team. You knew the Dolphins, if they were going to win, had to get that deep shot downfield to Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. And this year, those deep shots aren't coming. Last week against the Raiders, Jonnu Smith's 50-something yard touchdown was the longest touchdown reception the Dolphins have had all season, since all the way back in week 1, where Tyreek Hill was able to get over the top of a really bad Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Mike McDaniel has shown clear strides in being able to make this offense more diverse and run differently than what we've seen from this team in years past. I would have been shocked if you're looking at week 12 into the season, you would have told me that a tight end is only 36 yards behind being the top receiver on the team. Jonnu Smith, certainly, without a doubt, the acquisition of the season for the Miami Dolphins. His ability to let the Miami Dolphins play a little bit of bully ball, play a little bit of the death by 1,000 paper cuts by taking those shorter passes, taking something right next to the line of scrimmage and being physical, not relying on speed. Giving a little bit of grit to this Miami Dolphins offense is something that we did not see last year, as well as the dump offs to the running back. Devon Achane, completely different type of player than Jonnu Smith, obviously, but he gives you something with a little bit more speed on the outside. You don't have to take that shot downfield. You can look at the shot downfield, but 1, 2, 3, not there. Get the ball out of your hands to Devon Achane. Let him make 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. Set yourself up instead of a 2nd and 10 because you went down, or even a sack. Give it to Devon Achane, set up a 2nd 2, 2nd and 3. Something that gives the Miami Dolphins a much more sustainable offense that you can keep a longer time of possession and end up scoring on a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 play drives, as opposed to home run, now we're in the red zone, now we score. The Miami Dolphins have taken the grasp of the game away from these better defenses. Say what you want that Tua hasn't beat a good team. The offense did its part against the Arizona Cardinals. The offense did its part against the Buffalo Bills. We saw against better teams this offense can still operate at a very high standard. And then against the not as good defenses, against the Rams, against the Patriots, against the Raiders, you go out and turn those marginal losses into pretty substantial victories over the last 3 weeks. That takes that power back away from the defenses, where if you're a competent defensive coordinator, you just know all you got to do all week in preparation for the Dolphins is just hammer home cover 2, cover 2, cover 2. Play that all game long, sit those safeties back, sit those linebackers back, disrupt the timing at the line of scrimmage, and you're going to have a good day against the Miami Dolphins. That's just not the case anymore. Now it's back on them. Now the pressure is back on the opposing team defenses to figure out what do you do to try to stop this Dolphins team. Because you can adjust again. You can go from saying, all right, cover 2 isn't working. Maybe we can go with more of a cover 1, cover 3, man-to-man, and press them more at the line of scrimmage. Try to take away those underneath passing routes. Try to take away Jonnu Smith. Try to take away the dump-offs from Devon Achane. But then you go right back to the original problem. Tyreek Hill deep down the field. Jalen Waddle deep down the field. You can't take everything away from this Miami Dolphins offense. We see it with offenses across the league. Cincinnati Bengals, yes, they're not winning. However, when you have Jamar Chase and when you have T. Higgins and when you have Chase Brown out of the backfield, all his options, even see Mike Gesicki have a pretty good year, that offense is absolutely unstoppable. They would be one of the best teams in the league if, me and you watching probably wouldn't be able to do a better job than their defensive players are, because their defense is absolutely abysmal this year. Joe Burrow would probably be the leading contender for MVP if they could just get a stop or two every now and then. Their offense is 100% doing the part because you can't stop every single option. That's what this Dolphins team has turned into. You cannot take away everything. You can take away the deep shot. Now you leave everything underneath. You can take away underneath. Now you got opened up to the deep shot. Mike McDaniel has constructed a brand new offense that is just so different than what we saw last year, where big plays, high-flying 4 or 5 play drives to longer sustained drives, tight end getting massively involved. Another big day from Jonnu Smith. 5 out of the last 6 games, Jonnu Smith has at least 6 catches. Get Devon Achane involved in the passing game. The rushing game wasn't great yesterday, but we'll take it when those short to intermediate passes are working. What are you going to take away as a defense? And is going to be a big ask for the Green Bay Packers coming up here on Thanksgiving. I'm very much looking forward to this big game. I'm really looking forward to the Packers and Dolphins. A good team with the Green Bay Packers, just about on top of the NFC North, but anything short of the Lions, you're fighting for second best up there. Packers are a really good team. An opportunity for the Dolphins try to prove themselves and try to prove themselves that they can beat a really good team. And I believe that Mike McDaniel and this Miami Dolphins offense has the recipe to now do that, whereas in year past they failed. Let me know down below what you think about this new Miami Dolphins offense that we've seen with Tua. 3 games in a row that we have won. Let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comments. Do you think we can beat the Green Bay Packers? Let me know down below in the comments. While doing so, go get yourself a green grid iron helmet. While down there, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Appreciate y'all very much for watching. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Go Dolphins.